So the other day, I was in the kitchen. I was doing some qigong before we got it going on with the class. And my cousin came over and he had to ask, he was like, "Hey man, what size are your feet?" He said, what size are your feet, man? What size shoe you wear? I said, "Oh, I wear 14s. He said, "What? Size 14? I said, "Yeah." He said, "Man, Jerome, you've grown. Jerome, you've grown. Size 14 foot. You know what they say." He started smiling. He said, "Hey, you know what they say about big feet?" That smirk on his face. "You know what they say, brother." I said, "What do they say?" He said, "Big feet, big hands." I said, "The better to slap you with." That's what I told him. The better to slap you with. And he started busting out laughing. He was busting a gut. He started laughing. He said, "Oh, man." He came over to me. He hugged me. He was like, "Man, I love you, bro. Man, I love you." Now, if you're raising your eyebrow, asking yourself, was that an expression of love? You told him that you would slap him. He started laughing. And he gave you a hug. Was that an expression of love? But that was his love language. He enjoys making jokes. He enjoys nudging folks. He enjoys picking on people. And when someone picks back, when someone pokes the bear, he becomes more aware of the love that is there. When someone picks on him back, when someone pokes the bear, he becomes more aware of the love that is there. See, that's his love language. So I knew, okay, he just wants me to tease him back. That's his love language. But what is your love language? Right? I remember that my dad, my father told me back in the day, he knew this lady. And they were dating for just a little bit. Just a little bit, right? And while they were dating, he had a rude awakening. There was a cruel realization that she was used to a different kind of vibration when it came to love. He said that there was a time, son, that, I was with this woman and she wanted me to put hands on her. He said she wanted me to physically get active and to really put hands on her. She wanted me to essentially beat her. And she said, "If you don't hit me, you don't love me." My dad said, "Son, do you know I couldn't have gotten out of that relationship fast enough?" He said, "The first thing I did was got a one-way ticket out of that relationship." Because he realized that whatever abuse that she had been through in her youth, that was her love language. He said, "I couldn't do anything about that." He said, "I don't know what happened to her, but that's not me." Right? We not gonna see. So what is your love language? We have Aslahan, who says, "My love language is acts of service," right? So she says, "But whenever I get nervous, I focus on purpose. I realize my love comes from acts of service," right? So we got acts of service, we got gifts, we got words of affirmation, we got, what's the other one? Words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, quality time, and physical touch. There it is. The 5 love languages. What is yours? Big feet, big heart. Much love. Alexis says, you just heard a conversation like this. No doubt. Really? Shout out. Alexis says, words of affirmation is what I offer. For sure. For sure. Samantha says, I'm here eating a biscuit. She said, that's my love language. Sometimes you got to risk it to get the biscuit. That's what we used to say in the South. My name is Jerome. Better watch your mouth. Got to risk it to get the biscuit. That's what we said in the South. Elia says, I love this topic. My love language is sharing poetry or conversations in poetry. I love that. I always love to share poetry and flowetry. And physical touch is mine as well, Alexis. So we share that in common. Yeah, physical touch and quality time, those are mine for sure. Louis Mesa says the same. Awesome. So there's no shame if you feel the same, you know? Now I don't feel like I'm going insane. Like, I enjoy the physical touch. When I receive it, I'm like, thank you so much. I feel all that love. But much love to you. Alexis says, I think there are way more ways. Yeah, there's way more ways than 5, you know, so that we can thrive. We feel alive. There's way more love languages than just 5. I would say that too. So, you know, find out what someone's love language is, and you can see what you can do. Whenever you display it, you don't have to say it, but certain things come through. Like my aunt, you know, it boggles me that people don't seem to realize or recognize that her love language is clearly acts of service. Even if she says, no, don't wash the dishes. Please don't mop the floor. Please don't sweep that. Please don't wash that. Please don't clean this. Please don't do that. She begs me not to do things. But I secretly know that's her love language. That's the secret to her heart. It's the key that opens the door so we can feel even more, right? So when you understand your love language, how can you explore? How can you share it with others and let them have the floor? How can you open yourself to receive so you can give even more? Living a life of love. It never needs to be a chore. It never has to be a bore, right? But you can feel so much more. So much love always, as I love to say. Blessings, I'm wishing you a wonderful day. Stay spectacular, stay enthused, and please stay excited. Continue to build that inner fire. Keep your inner flame ignited. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm always delighted. And we'll see you next time. Much love, continue to shine. Woo!